flesh and blood that I can see, and millions of particles that I cannot see. 99% of me is made up of atoms that date back to the Big Bang. Atoms like carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen that were made from burning stars. I have existed for millions of millennia. But what resides in the infinitely small parts of my cells, nuclei, 100,000 times smaller than the atoms they are housed in, surrounded by emptiness? What happens in these boundless deserts? Almost like a peanut in the middle of a desert. Their trajectory is not determined by me, not even by fate, but by the potential for love and wisdom. Particles that have been entangled can no longer be separated, even if they are light years apart from each other. They understand each other instantly. They act and react in the same way.
Good morning, everyone. Buongiorno a tutti. Bonjour à tous. Buenos dias. I am overwhelmed. So happy to be here. Such a long wait, way too long. And boy, do we have a full house. Amazing. We're starting in a big way. So as you see, my show is inspired by Max's voyage, his journey in finding a new world. But let us show you rather. So without further ado, let me introduce you to my very good friend, business partner, and talented hairdresser, Danielle Benoit.
Now, Monica, what's happening? Okay, yeah, okay. Okay.
So I need my headpiece to work because usually I can't cut with one hand. I don't know. It's gonna be a little different. Okay, so while I'm waiting for this to be fixed, let me tell you a little bit about Danielle Benoit. Many of you may know he is my very good friend, business partner at Salon Pure, as well as many other adventures. He is many times Canadian Hairdresser of the Year, as well as Canadian champion. So I am absolutely thrilled and very often inspired by his cutting ability. He is an amazing cutter, so we're gonna see this. So I don't know if they heard me backstage, but definitely I need this piece to work for me to be able to cut. If not, I'm going to start without explanation. start with the next section. So I'm picking up sections, and as you can see, all of the bottom has already been cut. And I'm cutting everything short to long. And I'm going to speed this along. Extensions have been very much part of our lives, and I think very, very important because they certainly help our business, right? Very often when our businesses are kind of declining, we're looking for new ways, to bring more business into our salons, and definitely the extension, era brought a lot to us. But what I've been doing lately, only when I can, in this case, I had full length in the back. So what I did is I saved all of the pieces that I cut. Nick put them on extension tape for me, and I am going to extend rather quickly her nape area. But I'm using hair that I cut from her earlier because it was full length, okay? So I'm actually using her own hair that I cut yesterday and putting them back on in certain areas that I need length for this new haircut. Let me see if this will. Oh, okay. You can all hear me now. No. Okay, stay. Is my partner in crime, and he has been for a very long time. As a matter of fact, I think I've known Rock for almost, can I say 30 years? Yeah, almost 30 years. And I'll tell you, back then, I wasn't really fond of him because I thought he was a little bit too knowledgeable for my taste. And I've learned, obviously, over the years to appreciate it. And am I not glad right now that he is super knowledgeable, and I think a few of you have had the opportunity to appreciate his amazing work. So as I'm doing this, I'm basically going for a really elegant shag. So I'm going around the crown and the apex and removing quite a bit of hair, but I want to keep a lot of the length. And if you guys want to focus on what Danielle is doing in the meantime, he doesn't have a mic, but I know that we've been talking backstage, and we discovered that his model, if you want to turn her around, Danielle, has an amazing texture in the nape. So he's taking advantage of that amazing movement and cutting all of everything that is above the crown. As far as colors, Marie-José, Nick, Rock did all of our colors, and I think we may have some of the formulas for you later on. Now, what I want to do is expose the ear area. So I'm just going to create a triangular section, move away the hair, pick up the section that I need, and remove a lot of that length. Now, the fact that I'm cutting short to long, it helps me quite a bit to remove any chance of creating steps, or it becomes an invisible scene, basically. So I'm doing this on both sides. I'm just going to remove a little bit more here. And what is great about this technique is that you can pick up areas. It almost acts like a razor would. I do some razor cutting, but I find that this is just a little bit more controlled. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. A triangle over the ear area. And it's really important for me to leave everything that is above because I need to hide the departure of where I am cutting in this area. So I'm cutting quite a bit in this area. And because I'm going high up, when it comes down, there is no scissor mark and everything is very, very soft. I would say the color is quite pretty. I don't know if you get to see it from back there, yeah? Yes? And I'm gonna do the same for the fringe area. And I've discovered that I think I really like her with this curtain bangs type of feel. So that's where we're going with this. I'm just gonna make sure that it is short enough in the middle. And I'm just lifting up high. Ça va, Daniel? Now, like I said earlier, this is hair that I cut from her yesterday. So they've been taped. Now I'm just removing the excess, removing the tape. So that's something we don't usually do. Yes? That's something we don't usually do. Use the client's own hair after the haircut to give it length where we want it, right? Is that usual? No, I don't think so. So I just want part of the nape to be longer. So I'm just going to separate it. Obviously, I need the hair above it. I need one more on this side and two on the other side. And I'm almost done, guys. Basically in the same esprit of sustainability, right? We're not cutting anybody else's hair, but yes, but the model or the client's own hair. There's many ways where we can be sustainable, right? And I think the client certainly appreciates this, obviously, if it works with whatever she would like to have. appreciate them making the trip for us. Sorry, sweetie. As one of the voyagers looking for a better world, I think she's going to go to some alien land, so she needs her elf ears to do so.
Your laugh flustered me. I used to know your scent by heart, but then you disappeared. And I thought I lost you forever, but now I know you never went away. You were always there, right here, dancing in me. I see it now, with the inner eye of my spirit. If I stretch my hand, you can grab it.
can hear me now with no mic? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, usually I don't have my colleagues on stage with me, as you saw I brought Danielle out. But I think it's really necessary because we are no one without our teams, and I think it is time for me to showcase them. Many of you have seen my next teammate. She is a very dear friend of mine, a business partner, and a fantastic hairdresser. May I introduce you to Isabelle Chance. And do something that we don't normally see. Obviously, this is more of an editorial feel. It's not something that you would normally do in a salon, but who knows? Maybe in the near future, while we're looking for a better world, we could do things creatively. Now, what I did, and here's a very special mixture. It is resin, hair, lots of gelatin, and then hair again that is placed in these forms. I'm always inspired by history, because to go forward, I think we need to look at the past and take the best things out of the past. And certainly, anything that is very beautiful will inspire you. And the Baroque, era was very artistic, lots of creativity happening in that era. So I decided to take, these shapes, if you will, that remind us very much of the Baroque time. And again, with extension tape, I'm just creating something that is a little bit unusual, and maybe with the same type of thought process as extensions. Very simple. They're taped, and I'm applying them, and I'm creating a fringe, if you will, with these shapes that were created with resin, lots of hair mixed in there. Let me tell you, my kitchen and my dining room looked like, I don't know, something from another world. And I told my husband, you have to bear with me for the next month or so. Basically, I'm creating, like I said, a fringe. And you just need to wait and choose where you want to apply them. I'm going to take a smaller piece. Thank you, Nick, who had a lot of fun applying all of the tape. Yeah, this one's good. Tests, and this stuff sticks enough for them to go out and party if they want to. So obviously it's a little out there. It's not something that you see every day. But again, this is editorial, high fashion, if you will. But that's where it always begins, right? A very small one. And the whole idea is to create a very funky fringe. And as you can see, Isabelle, and I want to say something about Isabelle, who is an incredibly talented hairdresser, also winner of many awards, including Canadian champion. I surround myself with incredible people, and I think that is part of the secret of success. You cannot do it alone, so you need amazing people around you. A really tiny one, just to feel something. And Isabelle certainly fits the bill in a big way. And Isabelle, I went Baroque, and Isabel kind of went for hardcore tattoo was her inspiration. So if you can see where she's going with what she's creating. And it certainly fits the model with that amazing, amazing color. And speaking of amazing colors, certainly my model has an amazing color that was I don't know exactly the formula, but finished off with finest pigment, copper. Now, for the sides, you saw this pattern that I created on the side. So what I'm going to do now is just comb it out. Comb out the other side. I just wanted some width. This is medium hold. I'm just going to accentuate this ridge. And all I did is curl a very small section with very tiny wand or curling iron. Just enough for me to create this tiny, tiny ridge. You don't have to go all out sometimes to create particular shapes. And when you have models this beautiful, it makes our job so much easier, doesn't it? Yes. Yes, what could we do without them? We break our heads and say, I need to curl all of this to make a particular effect. Sometimes all it needs is one line, simplicity, to create an effect that is, let me see that on the camera. Yeah, it's getting there. With the fringe that I created with my little pieces. Ça va, Isabelle? Something different for you. Food for thought, right? Who knows? Maybe this is what we're going to be working with in the future.
There's a secret love that unites us all. It's like the sun. We cannot watch its eternal glow. Too bright, sublime and dazzling, far beyond the limits of our sight. But we can watch its light shine over fields and sparkles of water, inflaming every living thing. This love is life itself, full and complete. The cosmic root that gathers and ties in everything to every other thing, from the abyssal depths all the way to the celestial heights.
Can you hear me now? Yes? Okay, so for the next segment, avant-garde. So now we're away from anything that you will see in the salon, but I think it's extremely important for us to explore all the possibilities and creativity. And to do so, I have someone whose creativity abounds. He has been artistic director for the Cirque du Soleil. He has, a lot of you watched Bridgerton? Yes? So the queen on Bridgerton, all of her 17 wigs were created by my next team member. He's an amazing friend. Let me introduce you to Stefano Scotto di Cesare. So I did say avant-garde, right? Very simple idea. And the inspiration for me, let me start with the inspiration for Stefan. You know, when I told him, you know, what the theme was, he said, you know, Anna, when we explore very often, we go into space, uncharted territory, but one of the, I think, places on Earth that has not been explored to its just value is the sea. And he is very much inspired in this case by sea creatures, one in particular, a sea slug, okay? And you're gonna see as we go along where that comes from. So that is Stefan's inspiration. And as for me, I was inspired by DNA, what we're all made up of. So I said, how can I portray in an avant-garde theme what our DNA looks like? So it's something that's quite simple. I have Marie-José, who's an amazing colorist, by the way. I need the one at the bottom, rather. So lift it for me. And yes, bring this forward. So nothing new in what I am you're about to see immediately, but I think it's just a little bit different when you see what I'm going to do with it. So you've all seen this side, hair sheets. I'm pretty sure you've all seen hair sheets, right? This is a heck of a lot of hair, cut up, shaped, and in this case it looks like dentelle in French, or lace, if you will. And I kind of gave it a little bit of sparkle. What I used to do this is gelatin and a heck of a lot of more inside extra hold hairspray to create this, okay? So what is going to be different is basically what I'm going to do to it. And this is something you shouldn't do. I'm using my good scissors because I don't see my other scissors. I'm gonna call the cameraman to come forward. And of course I need to see where I need to begin, right here. And I'm going to cut this in a very simple, and I know a lot of you are cringing just by the fact that I said that I'm using my good scissors. It's okay, these are scissors from Alalon, and I'm sure I can call on seems quite simple right now, but it's not so much, the how to get there. It's the process and thinking of ways to create some of these looks, and then how do they happen? How will it work? And it's a lot of trial and error. That is beautiful, Stefan. And certainly we can see the colors from the sea in his creation. So I have one here that's already done. Creativity with a whole bunch of my colleagues. Davines, and then they were encased in a special kind of resin and gelatin. Again, inspired by the sea, a sea slug to be precise. That is beautiful, Stefan.